Okay, so our next section is exploring what do Christians believe or what do people believe to be the major causes of poverty. And I'm going to give you 5 examples, 4 that are in the book, and then one more, really determinism, predestination. So the first idea is geographical location. 2 ideas within geographical location. Firstly, if I am in a hot country or a very cold country where it's difficult for me to get crops, get plants, get food to eat, grow things, or find special minerals, it's going to be hard for me to eat every day and to get my basic sustenance. Also, it's hot, so I've got risk of skin cancer, I've got risk of a whole variety of other features. So often hot countries or very, very cold countries or countries where it's tricky to find useful resources will lead to those people in that country being poor. While somewhere like England, we've got our rivers, we've got our rain, we've got all those sorts of things. So it's generally in the past been very easy for us to become rich because we have all the resources around us. The other example on geographical location, which is quite ironic, is global warming. When people use lots of cars and have this big effect on the weather, that affects other countries elsewhere. So lots of people find themselves where they used to have rain, they don't have rain anymore, so their plants don't grow anymore. Or where they used to live in quite a safe environment, now there's hurricanes and stuff. And that could happen to the UK. The UK could find itself affected by geographical natural disasters that could wipe out London and lead us to going back and finding ourselves in a high level of poverty, where there's lots of risk, and we could ourselves become a low economically developed country. But that possibly would happen within the space of the next 50 years, at least. Politics now is our second example. So corrupt politicians, Robert Mugabe in Zimbabwe, all those nasty guys up there, like Saddam Hussein in the past, and all those guys up there going on in Iraq and Iran, and around there, all these kind of like Arabic dictators. Gaddafi was an example. These people basically took advantage of all the money and power that they had and didn't take care of the poorer people within their community, leading to them becoming poorer and poorer and poorer. Also, wars. If a war happens in your country, your crops are destroyed, your buildings are destroyed, your homes are destroyed, your livelihoods are destroyed. Men in your society often die because they're the people who go to war, and more often at least. And so your country as a whole often becomes poorer. So war in regards to politics is another cause of poverty. Population growth. If I have 1 child, it's easier for me to take care of them. If I have 8, it's not as easy. So often poorer countries have a lot of children because there's a high mortality rate. If I have 1 child and it's a 1 in 10 chance that they're going to survive, I'll probably have 10, just so at least I've got 1 person who'll take care of me when I'm older. So if I've got 10 children, though, that's pretty hard to take care of, and it's hard for the government to take care of as well. So as a result, population growth leads to poverty. Economic reasons. Unfair trade occurs. I'm going to put a little link to something called toxic debt, which is an interesting example, which shows that all the aid that we have given to poor countries has often gone towards a debt that those countries owe to people like the UK or people in America. So countries have given these poor countries, particularly poor governments, a lot of money on the condition that they will pay back that money alongside interest that they're owed, alongside other money that they're owed. So as a result of that, those countries just find themselves in more and 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 more debt to the other countries, and as a result they find themselves poorer and poorer and poorer. So our fifth reason, the D of our 4Ds, determinism. If you're poor because God made you poor. That could be a Christian perspective. There's something called the story of Job that gives this idea. In the story of Job, Job is a nice guy, nice family, never done anything wrong. God tests him in a bet with the devil and goes, look, he's still going to follow me, so I'm going to make his life rubbish, basically. He experiences sores and boils, he becomes very poor, his family dies, or members of his family become very sick and die. And he's like, oh my gosh, this is so bad. But he actually goes, you know what, God, I still love you because I've got faith in you. So some people say, you know what, poverty is poverty because God made it that way, and there's nothing that we can really know about it because God is transcendent. That is a Christian argument that has been used in the past, and a Muslim argument too. So people are just poor. In in the Philippines. I was in the Philippines last year, as I'd mentioned to you guys before, and it was said a lot of the poor people in the Philippines just feel, well, I'm poor because God's made me that way. I'm not going to complain about it. That's my life. You know, at the end of the day, I'll be rewarded in heaven, so who cares? So that's another cause of poverty. Materialism can also link to economic reasons. Greed obviously can lead to those things, but that would be me leading a bit off the topic, but you could use that as an example. We don't give money to charity because we love all these things. I love this shirt, I love this computer, I love my comfortable bed. I'm not going to sacrifice that to save a life. That's pretty pathetic of me, really, but that's our materialistic desires that we tend to have. No one can serve two masters. They'll either hate one or love the other. God and money. Okay, no one can serve two masters. That's materialism. You could use that as a cause for poverty as well. So that's now 6. I hope that's fine.